My name is Michele Lesmeister. I teach ABE-GED, and I have a classroom that meets 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. In my basic studies class, I was trying to find a way to serve the individual needs of my class. Typically, I have a fairly large class, and people come with a wide variety of learning needs and learning goals. So I decided that the last hour of class would become the student learning community. So what I did was I surveyed the class and I asked them, what are you interested in? Would you like a speech class? Would you like a technology time? Would you like to work on a novel? Would you like to work on medical terms? And I gave them a paper survey. The survey was handed in, and from that point I sorted out and developed 6 student learning communities. Hey, good morning, writers. How are we today?
Good.
Great. Okay, so today's challenge for the writing club is going to be a 2-part exercise. Are you ready?
Yes.
The first part is we're going to examine how we make daily decisions. How do we decide what we're going to eat, what we're going to think, what we're going to write about? So today for Writing Club, I want to hand out the assignment. And this is the assignment. You're going to choose among these candy bars. You're going to select one. Only one. And each one is different. Okay? And your first task is to choose a candy bar. Your second is to begin to consider what are the factors in your choice. In other words, how did you make the decision? And you need to document how you made the decision. You're going to write it down on the graphic organizer. And then you're going to talk in a group about what kind of genre, what kind of writing you can do about your selection. So let me give you an example because I like to model for you. One of the things that I like to do is to listen in on the students as they're talking. And I use a lot of reading apprenticeship methodology in my class. If someone is not quite on track or if the conversation is going astray, I like to say, how does that relate to our topic today? Or could you fill me in on the progress of what we've covered so far at this table? Or maybe you could help pull this conversation together by summarizing the information that we've already covered and writing it down and letting me see it. I'll come back in a minute and I want you to show me what you've learned so far in talking about this section of the chapter. And then I'll come back and either they're right on or there's a little bit of need for guiding them. And then I will say, have you paid close attention to the bold headings in this chapter? Are there things in the text that can help you outline the chapter? This is the Medical Terminology Madness group. And we're using a phenomenal book called Anatomy and Physiology, co-written by one of my friends, Elizabeth Hansen. And students learn how to use language to speak like disciplinary experts. And so this book has a lot of features for second language learners, and it's a great way for them to practice pronunciation. But let me not talk too much about it. I'm going to pose some questions about this unit on digestion. Anna Lynn, can you explain to me the function of the oral cavity as it relates to digestion?
The food go to oral cavity, and then the saliva water the food, and you start chewing the food and breaking the small pieces. And when you make the food smaller, go to the So
I feel very proud of the students for being able to work a full hour on their own, given minimal guidelines from me, and the learning in this class has been phenomenal, much more than had I been standing in front of the class teaching whatever content it was I was going to teach. And they're happy. They're learning something that they want to learn, and I'm guiding, I'm mentoring them, just like we have in faculty learning community.
I think for me personally, I would want to write a descriptive on this just because of how the candy bar is packaged. And when I think about this candy bar, I think of like a tropical place and palm trees.
Those students were actively engaged in first writing paragraphs and then longer pieces of writing. I know that after having 1/4 of a student learning community in a writing club, that any of those students could take English 101 on our campus and do very, very well because they understood the language of writing and they learned together in a group how to create a thesis statement, how to check for descriptive language, how to generate ideas, what does a paragraph look like, and how paragraphs vary genre to genre. And it makes me feel that sometimes as teachers, we don't put the onus of learning and using the intelligence of our students very much in how we design curriculum. The teaching is happening, and it's happening in the groups with people talking and working together, developing posters or PowerPoints together, and then I always have them have a peer look at it before they bring it to me because I want them to catch as many mistakes that they've made carelessly before I take a look at it. It works out really nicely, and the students have learned much more than had I just been in front of the classroom.